So the way forward through this study is that we need to bring together all EESD efforts through one voice, policy interventions, as well as ESD Training Center.
Environmental climate education, it's been embedded through and through in both STEM, but also in social science, in history, in geography, through the different kind of disciplines, so mainstreaming. I said that early exposure is really key, and I'll give you an example in 20 seconds or less. I'm working on a project for next year, really, on children's literature for Malaysia. And when I read through the existing children's literature, I saw three big themes. One was on climate change, one was on social issues, and one was about the body and so forth. And I just discovered that there are absolutely fantastic ways in which nature and caring for nature are depicted in educational material, picture books, infotainment, call it what you want, that targets very young kids. And I was very touched by your story earlier about this kind of superstitious myths around nature. And I think this book, it's called Furan. It's about a family who decides to move to a certain place, and they cut down the trees around, and then many things happen. And I won't spoil, I hope it will come out in Malay soon, so you can read it. But essentially, the nature takes revenge. So I think there are many ways in which our kids are really from a very early age exposed to these kinds of themes.
Literature, children's literature is known to have effects, to give that children experience or the vicarious experience. That means to have that empathy. So if you want to start on something, on a notion about environment, of course you can start with stories, because children has this affinity with stories. Especially if a teacher can tell the story very well, they would be very much attracted to read. So if you have inculcated the culture of reading, then the whole new world is open, to them, for them to explore. So when we actually come up with our curriculum, it's not by Curriculum Development Division on its own. We, just like what is happening now, as we are about to roll out, reviewing our curriculum in 2027, we have started with the needs analysis, engagements with various organizations since 2022. Yeah? So we had 21 engagements in 2022, and it continues this year. And I'm glad to announce that the framework of the 2027 has been approved by the Central Curriculum Committee at the highest level. So we are going ahead, pressing on with that curriculum in 2027. And the preschool will start in 2026.
So I think what needs to be in conferences like this, if I can advocate for, is to have more teacher voices present. I've not been in the classroom for the last 4 years, so whatever I'm saying may not be relevant to what's happening right now. Just over the weekend, I had the opportunity to work with 30 teachers. And we were exploring the idea of play in the classroom. And we focused a lot on the idea of, you've got the skills, you've got the methodologies, you've got the modules, but we all focused on the mindset. Is the mindset of a teacher ready to embrace play as the core concept of teaching and learning? And there were mixed views about this. And beyond the modules, beyond the skills that we are giving to teachers, I think one of the key areas that we need to focus on is the mindset.
So we need to look into this kind of innovative way, how that we can bring into the system where that children will benefit most.
I really think that this kind of holistic approach is the key, and to recognize that what changes will lead other changes. In other words, how will how will civil society influence policymakers to allocate resources? How will the advances in the education system also form and shape the civil society?
And all in all, I think when we're speaking about students specifically, is to provide them that opportunity to speak up. And we really need to ensure that. And on parents, I'm just going to end with this point. I think what the Ministry of Education specifically is trying to do, and perhaps needs to do more, is to create more awareness. Because going back to that formative assessment example earlier on, when the Ministry of Education of Malaysia removed centralized exams from primary schools, a lot of parents were not happy about it. So what are parents' expectations to what the education system is providing? I think that is something that we need to define together more actively.
A few subjects would need to be, as I said, transdisciplinary. That means, what's the difference? People keep on saying, what is the difference between interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary? Okay, for example, if it's now, if you look at, for example, if you look at fruits, yeah? You have strawberries, you have yogurt, yeah? So that is strawberry as a subject and then yogurt as a subject. But when you mix them, it becomes yogurt, yeah, much better. Okay, and then when you blend them, they become a smoothie, isn't it? You don't even see the strawberry or the yogurt or the milk and whatnot. So the transdisciplinary is actually how you actually integrate these subject areas or disciplines so that they become holistic and comprehensive. In the new curriculum, we have 3 different levels now. So each level would have its focus. For example, in level 1 the focus would be on literacy and numeracy. So once the child has actually acquired literacy and numeracy, therefore they can move further and apply those learning skills that they have learned, and they can move on to the next stage.
Perhaps we should put something in our Rukun Negara. I don't know whether you all are aware about Rukun Negara. Now, it started when I was in school, and we had to memorize it. And when my children went to school, the Rukun Negara, the 5 principles, were at the back of the textbook. And I'm sure all of you know the Rukun Negara. Perhaps we should add a 6th one that says to live life sustainably, or to live a sustainable life. And that is an overarching principle that they carry right through from preschool right up to university. They carry Rukun Negara with them. And although it's not a question, I just like to throw to Puan Fazlinah as a challenge for you to champion this, to maybe add the 6th principle. And, from young, they will learn the word sustainable and what it means to their life.
If we look at our Rukun Negara, there is one kesopanan dan kesusilaan. Yeah? When you say kesusilaan, that means when we live, you have to live in certain way, structured way, to think about others, to be mindful of others. That can also encapsulate the sustainability.
I was wondering if you could share with us what happens between now and 2023 and 2027 in terms of improving ESD.
We are in the process of mapping, but as I said, geography or environmental education is only going to be introduced in 2029, in year 3. Therefore, we still have time to engage with various agencies.
Do you have the history, for example, in part of Malaysian curriculum?
It's a process that, for example, Semai now, they have come up with their own corpus, their own dictionary and things like that. Yeah, of course, IBAN has been established a long time ago, but these are the things, the process that you need, not as easy, okay, today I want Bidayu, yeah? Tomorrow I want Bahasa Siam or the Siamese language. There are a lot of requests for languages, Siamese language, even Marathi, Malayalam, Punjabi and whatnot. So it's not as easy as, okay, the minute you ask for it, we will do it, because you need to actually study the feasibility of these languages to be offered in school as well.
The policy on EE and ESD, because that's the mother of changes that we are looking at. With that statement of the policy as well as implementation strategy will be very clear.
The ministry needs to focus on the sharing of best practices. What are teachers doing that are really, really working in classrooms and schools in relation to ESD? I think that would be fantastic. Chief, we need to do it together. We need to, the ministry, non-profits, private sectors, everybody, we need to try to rely on each other's reach and expertise to contribute this.
There must be that curriculum instructional. They must have that leadership for curriculum instructional, because some principals, they are so hung up on maintaining their CGPA or whatever, so that they look well across all the other schools. Yeah, we don't want that. We want principals to have that autonomy to think what's best for the school.
New ways to creatively teach in order to foster that kind of emotional bond that would ensure long-lasting learning and curiosity.